Brian, very good to see you. Today, we're going to talk through the 6 questions you should ask your advisor before you retire. Now, of course, you do not need a relationship with a financial advisor before you retire, but we do suggest you at least make an appointment with one to talk through these questions before you hang up your hat. And the first question is, am I financially ready to retire?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a big question, right? I mean, if you're going to make the decision to go ahead and retire, the paycheck's going to stop. And now it's, do I have enough? Yeah, have I
Mhm.
saved enough in my 401k or other retirement accounts? What's Social Security going to get me? Do I have a pension? How much is that going to be? And so really taking accounting for what you have and determining, is it going to be enough to get you
Mhm.
through retirement and live the lifestyle that you want to have through
Mhm.
retirement?
And that leads us to the next question, which is what income sources will I rely on in retirement and how sustainable are they?
So for sure. So like I just touched on, like Social Security could be one you might have. You might have a pension, for instance. And so with those two, it's determining, when to take that. How much are you going to get if you're married? How to coordinate your benefits, let's say with Social Security with your spouse, your pension. What options are available to you? What's the best choice? In your situation. And then what other retirement accounts do you have? Do you have a 401k? Do you have a 457? Do you have a 403b, maybe an IRA or other taxable investments? Maybe you have rental property, right? Whatever it is, you need to take an accounting for that and determine, okay, this is what we have, and this is what we can count on for income here in retirement.
Mhm. And then this is also related. All these questions and answers are interrelated, but how can I minimize taxes on my retirement income?
Another good question. So, in your working years, for many folks, if you're W-2, you receive your paycheck. For many folks, that's the primary, maybe the only source of income in your working years. But when you retire, you tend to retire, and now you have these different income sources, like we talked about, and they're taxed in different ways, as you can see right here. I mean, you have some accounts that could be tax free when you go to pull the money out, such as a Roth IRA. You could have pre-tax retirement accounts, such as a 401k that you funded on a pre-tax basis as an example, or maybe a traditional IRA. You could have taxable accounts, and those are going to be taxed differently as well, because now you're dealing with either short or long-term capital gains. You might be dealing with dividends as well, and all of this is going to be taxed differently. The other
Mhm.
thing too is really taking a look at where you're investing different money. So, thinking through what types of accounts should I hold different assets, because different types of accounts are going to be more tax friendly than others. So you really need to think through all these different issues when devising that income plan or
Mhm.
withdrawal plan in retirement.
Mhm. Next, what, if any, adjustment should I make to my investment portfolio?
So I think, as we all know, the way that a typical 25-year-old might invest will likely be very different than a 65-year-old or an 85-year-old might want to invest, because you have different needs, right? And we all are aware of this. But as we approach retirement, and then as we retire, now if the market goes down, whereas before it might have been a nice buying opportunity, or we could buy more shares, we could dollar cost average and then over time it might work out very nicely. But in retirement, the game changes. Now you're likely needing that money for income. So now you need to withdraw money, maybe from your IRA or 401k, and then if the markets go down, your investments go down. That could put you at a very real risk, perhaps, of running out of money, or at least being put in a position where you're not able to live the lifestyle that you really had
Right.
envisioned.
Mhm.
So you need to devise a plan that's going to be focused on providing you the income that is going to be sustainable for you in retirement.
Mhm. Next is, do I have enough saved to account for inflation and unexpected expenses?
Today, because people are living so much longer, it's not unusual if you're healthy today. Maybe your parents live well into their 90s. You could very well live for maybe 20 or 30 plus years in retirement, depending on when you retire. And so, you really take into account for the fact that over time, inflation has it has taken a toll. The cost of goods and services 10, 20, 30 years ago was certainly much less than it is today. And that's very likely going to be the case here in the future. So we can't overlook that. We have to make sure that we're accounting for that within our plan.
hmm And then the last question is, do I have a plan for long-term care? Because if you don't, this could wipe out your retirement savings.
It can be very expensive, and you can't go into retirement just kind of pretending like this is not going to be a possibility. It's not something most of us want to think about, but the costs are very real. And these are national averages, and certainly in certain parts of the country it's going to be more, in other parts of the country it's going to be less. So what I always say here, Aaron, is that you have to have a plan as to how you're going to pay for these expenses, whether that's purchasing long-term care insurance, and that's going to be the source of funds to pay for long-term care, whether that's you have certain money that's saved or certain money in certain accounts that you can count on. That's going to be the money. If I need long-term care, I can use that. Or maybe it's you're going to tap the equity in your home. You're going to sell it. You're going to look at a reverse mortgage, right? There could be all different types of solutions here, but you need to, kind of decide what makes sense for you. What are you comfortable with? And if you think about all these things and all these contingencies, I call it, that's a real key component or a key part of being able to go into retirement with confidence that you can spend your hard-earned
hmm
money and really be able to enjoy yourself.
hmm Talking this through with you, Ryan, kind of underscores to me how retirement is so much more than just a number in the bank, right? We see those headlines that say $1 million and you can retire. This
Yeah,
is just
exactly.
that's scary to think about it that way. So if somebody wants to talk through these questions with you to see if they are really ready to retire, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, it could certainly call 714-462-9155. Can also go to the website at kravitzfinancial.com and go to the contact page there and submit a message.
All right. Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.